Visionautics, the story of a person rather bad at creating the world. Part 1. Fabi was running along the sidewalk, nimbly avoiding obstacles usually presented as people. Not that they cared about what those blobs were. It started to rain, but drops were still slower than Fabi. They weren't able to catch them. Fabi was passing by colorful tenements. There was another every 6 steps. Without missing a beat, they jumped down the stairs. Unable to get tired, dashed through the city. But unfortunately, they had the target to go to, so they eventually had to slow down. Fabi looked at the still closed gate. It suggested that maybe after all they weren't late, but someone could have made a mistake. They turned into a narrow alley. It has been overgrown by the grass, which shouldn't be there. Nevertheless, grass was only grass. Why would it matter? There was only a few meters left, but one of the paving slabs was cracked, and it was a bad sign. They pushed the door. It was quiet and dark inside, but when they concentrated, it got brighter. Interior was making a positive impression. Simple yet elegant bookcases were filled with documentation. Quite big packages were lying on the green rack. Although they probably should have been more things, like windows. Fabi remembered at the last moment. Fabi spotted Ruth behind the desk. Ruth wasn't happy. "Where have you been? I can't cover for you all the time." "I don't expect this," Fabi snapped defensively. The desk was massive, made from precious wood. There was stain from the tea at the top. Normally, it wouldn't be a problem, but at this point Fabi was highly irritated. "You have to reload a few sets of discs. I left you an instruction in case you would have problems. I don't have time for this. I have work on the back," Ruth said harshly. This angered Fabi. They kicked one of the boxes stuck on the way. Then they pushed the desk so hardly that it shifted to one of the bookcases, making a pile of sheets, carelessly chucked there to fall down. Ruth, who was already walking away, turned again to their friend. "What are you doing?" they asked quietly. "I can't do this anymore. This work is idiotic and this place is disgusting. There's mold on the ceiling and you blaming me for not grasping the moment to appear here perfectly." Ruth glanced up quickly and answered, "This isn't mold, it's just a shade." They got close to Fabi and gripped her firmly. "But those are the basics. To keep the world integral, in good order, logically and aesthetically. One thing is to be late, although you should know the sequence of events already. But this is ridiculously easy." Fabi just stayed silent, putting their head down. "Go back to your place. Get some rest." After entering their room, Fabi carefully closed the door and sighed. It was a really small place. There were only a wardrobe and a bed, yet Fabi liked it that way. There, they didn't have to create anything, thinking about what things should look like. Fabi lay down on the bed. They were embarrassed and angry, and what made matters worse, they didn't have any idea how to improve their effectiveness in Visionautics. They knew that they had to, but deep inside, they didn't see the point anymore. Fabi didn't want to think about it anymore. They reached for their bag and pulled out a few sheets of paper. Content of those papers deeply bothered them. It was obviously encrypted. The alphabet was simple, just several similar characters, set in different configurations. Fabi went through this text so many times that they basically memorized it, but they were no closer to understanding it. They were only sure that those marks weren't equivalent to letters or words in normal language. Some combinations were repeated, sometimes slightly changed, sometimes pages further. Fabi felt that there were a hidden meaning. It wasn't just a random set of stains. Next time when they prepared to work, they were more careful. They intentionally went early, before the red line streetcar started its route, and just after the neighbor went out. Fabi checked the map of events closely. Every citizen which was co-creating reality had it in their head. Fabi wanted to know at what phase Ruth was, but they weren't given access to their activity at that point. It was a bit strange because Ruth was rarely hiding. Yet, of course, it was their private matter. Fabi was going with their head down. They didn't want to create more than necessary. They were annoyed and distracted. Their thoughts were running through their mind, running away like in searching for some kind of task to perform. Identical grey paving bricks were appearing next to their feet. Exceptionally boring fugue squiggles were flashing in front of their eyes, turning once left, once right, squirming like a snake. They resembled a snake, long, thin python, which could be grey like a fugue, or maybe a little more greenish. Fabi stopped. They understood that they'd made a serious mistake, because they were looking at a little bit disoriented snake. Fabi looked around and met eyes with a passerby. That person glanced at them, then at the snake, and screamed. Afterwards, things went quickly, very naturally. Different people were starting to notice the new creature, which existed to a greater extent with every single one of them. Not until an operative had appeared had the confusion ended. They charismatically announced that it was only a garden hose which had fallen down from the truck. That logical explanation convinced the gathering. Fabi ran away. They didn't come to work. They were too shaken up to go anywhere. They just started walking instead, without purpose. Suddenly, Fabi saw something out of the corner of their eye, which made them stop abruptly. It was a symbol carved on one of the doors. The same symbol as on the beginning of the code they tried to unravel. Fabi hesitated. Even if there was someone who knew the secret, they had no reason to share it. This person could also get them into serious trouble. Nevertheless, Fabi decided to take a risk, and they went inside.